Hello everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome to the signature style hop, the hop that is not. So this is brought to you by Sara Scraps. Her idea here was she wanted to create a something to hop along to for the summer, but didn't want to make you have to do a challenge or anything, and just wanted you to create something that made you happy. I have a layout and I totally planned on sharing it today. However, I'm waiting on a few pieces for a design team that I was trying to combine with it, and those pieces have not arrived in the mail. So I will share that later on this month. And instead, for my stop along the hop today, I'm just going to show you what I find makes me on a layout and my signature style, and the things that you will regularly see on something that I create. So to start off, I am a big fan of tone-on-tone mixed media, stitching, frames, and borders. Those are kind of the things that when you look at my layouts, you will see pretty consistently. So here's an example of that. I have this white cardstock framed with this beautiful pink one from Paige Evans. Sorry about that. And then on top of that, I have some frames here. I do have mixed media. Now this isn't necessarily tone on tone. You will see that in a minute, but it's subtle and it's a color that you can see within the collection that I'm using. So that's pretty common. And then I have this fun little cluster of sequins, which is also something I like to do. And of course you've got stitching. Now this is machine stitching versus hand stitching. I do both. I haven't brought out my machine in quite a while. It's kind of tucked away and I forget about it. So there's been more hand stitching versus machine, but I have hand stitching here around the frames too. So this is really me on a page. Everything you could think of is on here that has something to do with my favorite things and the way I like to create. So here's another example of that. I've got a cut file. I got more and more into cut files since obviously joining the Confessions of a Paper Addict design team. I was a part of that for a few terms, and I just learned to get more and more comfortable with them. I really enjoy them now. I do them kind of subtle ways. Like this one, it's very covered up, right? You can see the cut file. I've done the stitching, but then I have pieces layered on top of it. So the cut file isn't the main focus. My photo is, which is what I try to do. But we've got the frame, we've got the stitching, we've got both hand stitching and machine stitching. And here's what I'm talking about, the tone on tone. So this pattern paper that I back the cut file with is the same color that I used for my mixed media there. And that's just the way I like to do it. I like it to be subtle there, but not too much. And then it matches in with a heart on my coffee cup there. And there's another frame, and then layers. So that's another thing I like to do, is tucking in my layers. Now here's one that is a good example of how I like to layer my photos. I like it when things touch. I don't do well when I have things that are separate for the most part. I'll get to that in a minute. And so I like to layer my photos and have them almost stack on top of each other. So this is the perfect example of that. I'm a fan of fussy cutting, so you will see me find pattern papers that I like and go ahead and fussy cut those out. I've got a half border here, and instead of stitching, I just traced a line, but I also then went with my black pen and traced the pieces that I fussy cut. And I like to do that too. I love to give that look of a pop and a shadow. So I find tracing with a black pen is a great way to do that, and just outlining the shape that I'm working with. So there's another example. Sorry, this one's a little bit blurrier. It's still in the page protector there, but I wanted to share that one. And then here is the perfect example of a few things. So we've got the tone on tone mixed media. Now again, I'm not sure how well that reads with this being in a case, but I have purple mixed media on a purple background. It's there, it brings texture to it, but it's subtle. I've layered in a bunch of flowers, which I love. So there's my layering. And then my photos are layered and tucked in on each other. A full border going on. There's no stitching on this one, but it does definitely have a lot of my favorite things. And then finally, because I love stitching so much, I love stitching, you guys. I don't mind hand stitching. It's a long process. It's not recommended for everyone. If it's not your thing, don't worry about it. Don't do it. Find something that's your thing. But I love it. So you have seen this layout recently if you follow along with me, my channel, my Instagram. But this is just a great example of one of my signature things, which is stitching. So I found a cut file, poked some holes, and did some stitching. This, I would say, has separate little bits and pieces because each one of the suns are separated. But do you see how my main cluster, it's all tucked in together? And other than this little I love you, everything is touching something else, because that's the way I have to do it, or have a visual triangle. And that's where this piece comes into play. And my last thing that I do on almost every layout is I have to have a visual triangle of something. So for this one, I have a visual triangle of the black, but I also have a visual triangle with these two little yellow enamel dots and this sun going that way. Or you could look at it going this way with the yellow pattern paper, or this way and take away that enamel dot. But you have visual triangles going on because my eye just likes that, and it tends to be how I create. So there you go, just a few examples of me and my style and what I like to do, and what you will see time and time again on my layouts and my channel are those kind of same 4 to 6 techniques that I just really enjoy doing and make me happy. Please enjoy hopping along and seeing what everyone has created today. I'm sorry I don't have a new layout to share it. You'll see it. You'll see it later on, and you'll see why I'm holding off on it, because I really want to share it together with the things that I have coming up for a design team layout. So stay tuned for that. Hop along. Thanks, Sarah, for putting this on, and have a great day. Bye, everyone.